Hi there, this is Happy Traum coming at you for acoustic guitar, and I'm delighted to be here today to show you this terrific old gospel tune that I love to fingerpick. It's really a fun song, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. One of the things I've always loved to do is arranging old traditional songs for the guitar, particularly for fingerpicking, whether it's old time or blues or old ballads, or in this case, an old gospel song. I'm a finger picker, so I use a thumb pick and two fingers, my index and middle fingers, usually on the first and second strings, but sometimes they'll go to the second and third strings as well. Occasionally the first finger will even go to the fourth string. I don't think in this particular song I'm going to be doing that. One of the things I love to do is make a strong bass line in any song that I arrange. I think that's one of the most important anchors you get for the song, is to keep a bass line going. In this song, it's got a perfect chord progression for that, and I'm going to show that to you in a minute. Let me play just one time through, just strumming it, so you can hear what the song itself sounds like, and then I'll show you how you can add your picks to it. So it goes, there's a bright side somewhere. Now, just to backtrack a little bit, you can just play that first line with C and G7, two simple chords. And by the way, I have the capo, as you can see, on the second fret, so I'm going to talk to you as if this is in the key of C, even though it's actually in D, because it's 2 frets up. So instead of playing it just with the 1 and 5 chord, the C and the G7, I'm going to add the A minor, which is the 6 minor, and the D7th with an F sharp in the bass, which is very easy to get to from an A minor, because you're just going to take one finger, your second finger, and move it up to the 6th string, 2nd fret, and then a G7th. Sometimes I put my little finger here on the 4th string, 3rd fret, which is your 7th note also, and then back to a C. That's the first line. There's a bright side somewhere. So you can hear how that bass stands out. Second line goes to the F. There's a bright side. And sometimes I'll play this barred F, or sometimes I'll play F with a thumb over the top, which I like to do a lot. And then to make this a bass line, I like to go from the F note to an F sharp. And here, instead of a D7th, I'm going to bar 3 strings, the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings at the 1st fret, and put my little finger down, my ring finger down where it was before on the 3rd string, and make that into a diminished chord. Damp out the 1st string. You don't want the 1st string in there, or the 5th string. You're not going to hear those anyway. And this goes pretty fast. It's a passing chord to your C, and I'm going to have the G in the bass on the C. So I've got F sharp diminished, C to a C7th, and now once again it goes F sharp diminished, C with the G in the bass, we call that C over G, and now the chords go E7th to an A minor. Now you can jump over to the B note of an E7th and then go down to your A, which would give you this. But I like to add sometimes, and this changes quite a bit, won't rest my rest until we find it. That G sharp note at the 4th fret of the 6th string leads you into the A minor, and that is part of your E7th chord. But I rarely use that chord shape because it just goes by too fast, and it's a really kind of a hard stretch. So I'll go, let's not rest until we find it. Just like a passing note, but you can do it both ways, as I'll show you a little later. And then, just like the first line, there's a bright side somewhere. And here you can go F, C. So here's the way the whole tune goes. I can start with a little bass run. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. Let's not rest until we find it. There's a bright side somewhere. Now, fingerpicking it adds a lot when you put your first two fingers and pick syncopated or sometimes on the beat. And here you can get into some picking patterns, or it's probably better if you don't get too much of a pattern going. I like to mix it up a lot to keep it interesting. But that would be, there's a bright, and here maybe pinch those and keep the bass notes strong. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a, go to a C7th here to lead into the F. There's a bright side somewhere. Let's not rest until we go find it. That works too. And then when I come back to the C, go back to the G and the bass. There's a bright side somewhere. So that's the basic idea of the song. And if you're not used to keeping that thumb going, that's something to really work on, because it's so important that that thumb just keeps going and find those good, strong lines in the bass. Now, one of the things that I like to do in this song is add little treble runs on the high strings. And here you can stop the thumb for a short time. And I'll show you a couple of those here. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a lot of different variations on this, so you're going to make up your own. There's all kinds of things you can do there. So here's the third line. Let's not rest until we find it. Here I'm kind of pinching those notes to emphasize those chord changes. There's a bright side somewhere. So that's the basic idea of the song, and the whole thing stays the same all the way through. Only one word or a couple of words change. There'll be more joy somewhere. Second verse, there'll be more love. There'll be more love somewhere. So because the song stays pretty much the same all the way through, it's important to vary what you do with your right and left hand. One of the things you can do to make a little variation is, instead of going to your E7 here in the first position, you can bar the second fret and put down your D7 shape behind it, which gives you course, in the E7th, here at the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th frets. And then you can come up and bar the 5th fret and get your ring finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string. Sorry, I'm on the wrong fret there. So it's D7th, or rather E7th with a D7 shape. And of course you have your open A for that A minor. So you can't stray too far. So that would be, let's not rest until we find. Here you can play the C with the G on top. Find it. There's a bright sun somewhere. So you can see you change it up from verse to verse so that people's ears don't get tired of hearing the same thing over and over again, and neither do you. Okay, now let's say you want to play a solo, an instrumental part on this song, and this gives you a little more of a challenge because the melody goes up the neck. So the first part stays pretty much in the first position, and I like to lead in with a little pickup, open G string, A note, C note, and again, don't forget, it's really in D, but I'm calling everything as if it's in the key of C. And here the melody stays on the first string, right side until this, somewhere, or you can go somewhere, right side, somewhere. And you can jump in with. Okay, now the melody goes up here. So you're going to an F shape, but it has to be up here on the 5th fret. And I use this little bar on 3 strings and then put what's basically part of a C chord. If you had your little finger here, it would be a C shape, as you can see, but I only use 4 strings here. I get my little finger out here on the 8th fret, which is a C note, if I was capoless. And then from this shape, this F, I can keep that little finger down and just put a diminished shape behind that note, that C note. And then to keep the melody going, I come down 3 frets, and then I throw in this little lick. So here's that. On this diminished, I like to play thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb. Okay. Then when I come down here, I pinch that. And then the next line's kind of the same. Here's C with the G on top. And then here's your E7th. And your A minor. Then back to your first line. So once again, here we go. Very slow. can see, I hesitated because I don't do it the same way twice all the time. Let me show you one last really cool lick that you can do when you go. So I'm up here on the 8th fret, 5th fret. Now I jump down to the 3rd string. Then 4th string, right, that's your A note. I do this differently again every time, so let me play it for you the way I might play it. That's an approximation of the way I might play it. Of course, I play it even more up-tempo on my new CD, and when I play it live, it's a little bit faster. But that gives you the idea of the song, and it's really fun to play. And really keep that thumb going. That's one of the keys to anything you play in this fingerpicking style. So have fun with that, and take it as far as you want to take it.